Boom! And we're live, and it is EuroScrum and Hookup, and we've got Sam and Yarrow and Nick in the house. Let's go to screen share. I guess I was just looking at the current Hangouts, as I do, having just started the Hangout, and I was just reflecting how kind of I think while this is now for people who know what they're doing, this is very streamlined. I think that what we want now, ideally it would be, I don't know if it would be necessarily in text, but something along the lines of, the Scrum Master will click this, kind of start button. Or something to the effect of, click this if you are the Scrum Master, or or something like, if no Scrum Master is available. Like some message to let people know that, okay, in general, there's, in some ways, what I think we would want is, that we've got it at the moment, so that the, no, I don't want text there. Go away.
Ideally, we should have something short.
Oh yeah, no. I think, in some ways, if you've got like a text explanation for what we're going on, that's sort of a, that's a design smell. It's sort of saying, we haven't found a way to graphically represent it that's better. But the key thing I think is that we do need to. Oh, no, let me build a speech bubble now.
By the way, Sam, I will send you a link. I've tried out this service, which is free for one account. And what it is, you can go to you go to Agile Ventures, and right on the page, right on the website, you can make comments. Only people with the service, when they go to the they can see your comments right on the website.
Yes.
That should be really cool.
A grade out. That sounded cool. Yes, do send me that. Grade out, join. So I think that what we would ideally have is that the button to join would always be there, but it would be grayed out when, and it would say, would be grayed out perhaps with text. Kind of thing. It's, anyway, just another my immediate thought on this. Anyway, shall we go to, let me, go on. I want Firefox. Come here. There we go. Yes. No, do I really? I guess maybe I do. Agile Ventures. Yarrow, how are things with you?
Things are good.
Excellent.
I had a lot of pair programming yesterday, but it was all a day of solving bugs. First with Nick, then with John E, and then with Christian Atlantic Scrum on his article vote feature. So I haven't done any work myself, but it was fun debugging those things.
Right. Good show.
Although my pull request is already in place for the project, the Hangout on projects on projects section.
Oh, really? So now I can go to you say it's in place.
No, the pull request is there, but Brian
that'll take some time.
didn't have a look at it at all yet. And the other thing is, as soon as that gets merged in, the next pull request, which is ready, but I'm just holding it back, is the one which shows the live, whether the session is live or not, and shows the live sessions.
Right. Cool. Good show. Excellent. So nothing blocking you at the moment?
No, not at all.
And you're free to pair now?
Yeah.
Cool. Nick, how are things with you?
Things are very good. So as Yarrow mentioned, we spent, I think, more than 2 hours in the end yesterday trying to work out why some Jasmine tests were passing in the browser and failing from the command line and on Travis. And we learned a lot of things in the process that were not immediately related to solving the problem, but in the end, it turns out that, I guess, different browsers' JavaScript interpret time strings, time date strings differently.
Mm-hmm.
So Chrome was able to parse the string, but in Phantom.js, which is what is used from the command line, that
Right.
string was returning an error.
Ah.
So it took us a while to track it, but we did in the end. And yeah, that bug is taken care of, and I'm hoping to finish this feature, which is to show the local start time for events within the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's blocking me is lack of time, because I need
Sure.
to finish the CS 169 course this week,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of sprinting to the start of my vacation at work, so there's a bunch of stuff to do.
Sure. Sure.
But other than that, everything's good.
Good stuff. And are you free to pair now or later in the day?
Sadly, not at all today, and
No.
possibly not at all this week, but
No.
yeah.
No, fair enough. Okay. Yes, I mean, the final homework for the 169 is not particularly challenging by comparison with all the others. So anyway, yeah, so then there's me. So yes, it was my last day at, at Makers yesterday for a while, and that was all just talking to the students about final projects. In the background, we did have the site go down. I think it seems like we've identified the problem. I don't know if it's just me. Does the site seem a lot faster now? Like going to, you know, for me, like before, like loading the projects page or even loading an individual project would take quite a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
My sense is, and maybe just me, it seems like it's, at least anyway, the site is back up, and the key thing was to me, this geocoder thing. And I don't know if there was any. I mean, I basically yesterday slapped in these changes and forced them quickly out onto production, and they seem to work, and it seems to be stable as far as I can do. I don't know if there was. I mean, this morning I've kind of woke up and I'd say I'm going on a trip on Thursday, so I've spent the morning. I haven't even really caught up with the Slack things, as you can maybe see, but yeah. I guess we haven't had any input from Brian on those changes that I pushed out, or otherwise.
I talked to him about it. He spent some time last night sort of fixing things around. He was concerned about the master going out of sync with staging.
Sure. Yes, well, I mean, that's right. If I'd had any free time whatsoever, I would have pulled the master changes into staging. But so hopefully, if he had time, he was able to do that. But yes, I mean, you know, it was an emergency.
The funny thing, though, Sam, that looking at the gblame, you were the guy who changed the timeout to 0.
Oh, okay, but so what was it before that, though? That was the question.
Yeah, I didn't spend much time on it. Yeah, just had. Yeah.
If we look at the compare with. Can I not get git blame on here?
It's annotated. If you do annotate, it will show the same as git blame. Yeah.
Right. But so that's what I did yesterday. But then, what was it originally? That was the thing. Because I mean, I would only have set that to 0 as an attempt the last time around to try and fix the same problem. But what was it before that would be the interesting question. So compare with. Can we go and look at? See, this is the version here. Well, I don't know. It looks like here, according to this view that I've got here. Come here, you. Was originally it was on 10. That's the previous. That's what Thomas had it on.
I see. So yeah, you
had it
were
on
thinking
10.
Maybe not to wait for 10 seconds. Let's take it down to 0.
Yeah, well, I think that must have been one of the things that we experimentally did the last time around in order to try and sort it out. But so yeah, if we can local history compare with. So yes, the implication there is that I made a change on the 12th. Oh, that this was like my attempt to not talk to the geocode service at all. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it now seems to be much happier on 2. I think
it is faster, by the way. It is faster for me too.
It does seem. I mean, I think what we've got for some reason, on maybe like all the pages, there's some number of geocoding requests going out, or there's at least one geocoding request going out. I think this is the thing that Sampritya and I were looking at before. That's related to, I think for the individual person's account, like in order to grab the information about the the account, then it kind of goes off and does that. And so that's maybe the rate limiting step on all the pages. I mean, I was sort of assuming that all of this slowdown was as a result of loading lots of videos from the YouTube API and so on. But it seems like maybe it was related.
I will try to hunt it down to see why is it actually doing the request on the project pages.
Yeah, I mean, what I don't, and I mean, not that I know the code base at all actually, is where the like, I guess here, use a spec. See, we haven't got, I don't know how the geocoder is even used.
Neither do I, to be honest.
No. I mean, we've got geocoder config set there. And what this is, that we're adding some stubbing testing thing in the pure, where is that env? Is that in, that's feature support?
Oh,
no, it's all the testing environment.
Yeah,
the geocoder is only configured there. Anyway, so I guess I shouldn't ramble on too much with that. I'm at least quite pleased that the site is running and not.
We'll work it out.
Yeah. But so, yes, I mean, I'm busy working through my to-do list now. The main things are, I guess today that I've got to focus on is getting the bonus videos released for the course, and trying to wrap things up for the course. I guess that's my key thing today. And just, well, there's also the level 3 TA certificates, but I might leave those and see if somebody comes online in the next Scrum and try and get everything else that I know and I can do independently. A client meeting with the beta starters today, which I've said we'll try and run through the Agile Ventures site, see how that goes. So yeah, I think that's it. Nothing particularly blocking me. Yeah, just all those things to find. I guess I could be free for pairing, but it seems I must get the 169 course fixed up first, I would say. Yeah. So I guess one thing that's a general thing for the group is, so there's sort of a question mark about the form of what Agile Ventures as we're trying to basically set up this, or we have set up a non-profit organization in the UK, and there's some question marks about the kind of the exact vehicle that we've used to set up, or at least, so there are these two different things in the UK where you can have a company limited by shares, which is what people use as sort of for standard companies that get sold on the stock market and this and the other, or traded on the stock market, and then there's a company limited by guarantee, and apparently companies limited by guarantee are more traditionally used for non-profit ones. Unfortunately, they have to be applied for like with pen and paper, and so I, in my haste to set up the company, I went for the online process and just created a one limited by shares, and I've worked through a process of like adjusting the documentation for the company to say, right, we would only, we would never buy or sell shares. It's designed as a non-profit, and adjust the company documents to say, all profits would be reinvested in the company for the stated aims of, supporting global education and other non-profit organizations. And the bank account the process of creating a bank account has just gone ridiculously slowly, and I'm thinking less and less and less of this particular company that I've chosen to be the bank account thing. Anyway, but one of the things one of the key things that I'm keen to avoid is needing to do yearly tax returns, and is independently of all the other things. The key thing is I would like to get the HMRC, which is Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, basically the tax man here in the UK. I would like to get them to recognise us as a non-profit. That seems to be really the bottom line. And if they recognise you as a non-profit, they basically, you don't have to pay thousands of pounds to an accountant to get your taxes done each year. And yeah, that seems to be highly desirable, it would seem to me. And so, but the process of doing that is you kind of like, it's not, you have to kind of like just convince them that you are, doing good things. And so what they also want is, in particular, they have to have like two responsible persons in addition to, the main person. So I've been asking, and there's all UK addresses and things. So I'd asked Brian and David as our two other UK members to be those members, and they were talking about different roles and names and so on. And I guess it's a question of, what kind of incorporate, like particularly if it involves, if it's more than just me, but if it actually requires other people to make legal commitments to the company, there's sort of a question of, what exact form should the company take? Should it be a workers' cooperative where decisions, have to be voted on by a board or by, and you have all these rules about how many members you have to have in a meeting before you're allowed to make decisions and so on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's sort of it partly relates to the discussion that you're having, Yarrow, on website 1, related to what's the procedure for pulling in pull requests, and like, should it be by an individual, or should individuals be making that decision, or should there be an extent to which majority voting would take place?
It's even more related to the other discussion on roles and responsibilities.
Yes.
I only mean this as a half joke, but what about registering the company in, I don't know, the Cayman Islands or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would be, I guess that might be tax advantageous for tax purposes. I guess I'm hoping to get the, kind of explicit approval of, the UK government, so to speak, for our. I want it to be as above board as possible.
Sure.
I mean, another, as I was talking about it, another possibility is to make it a for-profit company, and just be damned with it. I mean, try and run it as a. I mean, it's sort of a question of what's the best way, to do things in an ongoing fashion. It seems to me that in some ways, while it might be desirable in some senses, in some situations, for having voting on things, it seems to me that, at least for getting things done relatively, like both with projects, it seems to me that projects should have a project manager who has the last word on what happens in the project, and similarly, in companies, it seems to me that it makes sense, at least in the short term, to have people, what you want is responsible people in authority who are going to be reasonable people who will listen to reasoned arguments, but that ultimately, for the purpose of moving things on and avoiding, endless ongoing debate, you need some individual who's going to take a final decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the word reasonable is the key here, though.
Yeah.
I agree absolutely. For me, I think, well, in fact, I think that having one person who has the last word is beneficial for any kind of activity, because things can be decided on finally, instead of having, as you're saying, this ongoing discussion. What's very important for me, and I think for some other members too, and for Agile and like for any company, is just to have a clear position about this. Just have
sure.
Yes, we have the project manager. His role is this, and this, and then everybody decides if that suits them and he is in the project, or it doesn't suit them and he goes elsewhere.
Yes.
But talking about Agile Ventures, I think it's definitely beneficial to have somebody in charge who's having the last word.
Yes.
I'm not sure. That's one point. And another point, why? What's your main? Where do you see the main advantage of calling Agile Ventures non-profit?
I think the main adventure of calling Agile Ventures non-profit is that, for example, yourself, Nick, many others, myself, we've all put a lot of effort into it without, any financial return on that. I think that from the beginning, the key idea with the non-profit is, as it was conceived of, people are coming off the MOOC, they want to practice their skills. If we were doing for-profit projects, the danger is then that it starts out with, what is the share of the money that goes to different people? Like for the amount of work that I've put in, how much should I be getting paid? And so it was sort of an explicit attempt to make that one less thing that needed to be negotiated. The idea was, for example, with the local support project, people are contributing time here, one, to get the benefit of learning the skills, But two, it's also, you know, they're giving back to the community. They're doing something for a good cause. And if you're doing it in a good cause, then you don't tend to get into an argument with the other people on the team about, I've done more than you and you got paid more than me and this, that, and the other. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. But then the second question is, you know, there is no problem just saying everywhere that Agile Ventures is non-profit, but having but officially having you know, a profit organization.
Yes, no, indeed. It could be. I mean, we could be supporting non-profits with a for-profit organization. I think more that the challenge is that if we were a for-profit organization, based in the UK, then we would need to. That there would be a burden of paperwork, and you know that would either be a lot of work for someone to do that would have to be done each year, or it would be, you know, like at the moment, I mean, I have a for-profit company in the UK, and I pay about £1,000 a year to have an accountant do the accounts for that. And I guess if I felt sufficiently rich, I could say, right, well, let's make Agile Ventures a for-profit organization that happens to help non-profits for whatever reason at the moment, and I'll pay £1,000 a year to do that. I guess I'm cautious about wanting to take on board that level of financial responsibility. Right. The other thing is that if we're a for-profit organization, then we don't get free things from certain organizations like RubyMine or from Code Climate, or basically there's a whole host of different technology companies that will donate stuff to us if we're non-profit. PayPal will, for example, waive our fees. You know, there's a whole series of advantages associated with being a non-profit organization beyond simply avoiding, you know, the burden of reporting taxes.
You have to be an officially non-profit organization, right?
Well, you know, I think there's different companies have different levels of due diligence about how much they're checking about what you're doing. You know, and so
PayPal, for example,
yeah, I mean, and it's so I mean, there's kind of, you know, in terms of what you can get away with. I think particularly because, you know, we're an organization that spans multiple continents and multiple individuals. I think there's an advantage in trying to be as, you know, rather than trying to get away with, you know, whatever we can in different situations. There's kind of advantage in being explicitly above board and saying, look, you know, we're really, you know, we're a bona fide UK-based non-profit, and that, you know, will reassure many people that, you know, about what they're getting into. I mean, we could, you know, set up you know, another way of getting around the UK tax reporting requirements is to set up in, I guess, in some other jurisdiction and you know, sort of see what we can do, but that has a series of unknowns around it that I kind of, you know, I feel like I'd prefer to play the, you know, let's go and try and do it by the letter, so to speak. But, you know,
how about then just having a non-profit organization, just you know, finish the process, have those two responsible people,
yes,
and not think too much about the roles of those people.
Well, I think the thing is we have to give explicit roles to those people, and I guess we have to justify to the to the HMRC, to the tax people, like, what are the roles and what's the method for decision making in the company. I mean, I think my kind of inclination had been to say, you know, I'm the one who's bothering to do the paperwork, you know, like as regards the actual non-profit organization in the UK, then I was hoping to make it something that if there was any requirements as regarding that, then I would be the person who would make the decisions about it. It raises the question if David and Brian, for example, if they had explicit roles. I mean, the simplest thing would be to make them directors, right? But then we would have a situation where, you know, we might, like, you know, have a majority voting or what have you, and then that raises the question, we don't necessarily want to give David and Brian, you know, much more power in that regard compared to anybody else in the organization, just because they don't happen to be in the UK.
But
so,
isn't it much burden for them to be those people?
No, it's not burden for them. It's more, I think, I don't want to, you know, I guess it's the question I'm on now. I mean, because I could structure it so that, for example, I could make myself the executive director, and let's say that Brian and David were the non-executive directors, and I could say that I could write the description of the company such that only the executive director was in a position to make decisions. I guess I could do that. The Voluntary Action Harrow, who are the people who are our client for local support, that they've set up, what they've got is like a workers' cooperative where they have members and anybody can become nominated as a director, and then the decisions about what the organization does are put to the potentially to the vote of whoever are the decision-making directors at the time. And I guess it occurs to me, is that a structure that we should have? I mean,
I think the easiest way is have the structure which suits the government. On paper, have the structure which suits the government, like you're the executive director, you're taking all the decisions.
Right.
But in real life, have the structure we want to have.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's. I think clearly, because I think it seems to me clearly as regards how we run the scrums, when we run the scrums, how the projects work. It's there is no. People do what they want to do, and we discuss it, and ultimately, I make suggestions, but people do what they want to do, and that's how I like it. Yeah, I think what we're in. I mean, I guess we'll wrap it up there. The thing is, what's happened now is the Voluntary Action Harrow, they've submitted their documentation to the government, and probably by the end of the summer we'll hear back from what the government has said as regards their organisation. And I think maybe we'll have that. Maybe wait for that to have that as a data point before making any further decisions about how to move forward. But yeah, I very much appreciate both of your opinions on this matter. Any other thoughts or any other issues before we close up the scrum?
Well, only one question. I was thinking, Sam, do you like the idea of having like a feed from website 1, which has anything that happens on website 1, like members joined, articles changed, projects added, pull requests made, all in one place, and also streamed to Slack channel? I'm
not. It's kind of cool. I wouldn't see that as something that would necessarily be so immediately useful.
No. I mean, after the Hangouts and I mean, I wanted to have the goals, so we always.
That would be an interesting thing to play with. I mean, I feel like I get kind of, I don't know. I mean, I get a bit overwhelmed by these streams of information of different things. I mean, at the moment, in somewhere like, if I was thinking of the thing I was just thinking about as cool new things, what I think would be quite cool is that every time that we did a scrum or a hangout that we posted, that I mean, we've got it automated to post to Slack. I think what would be cool would be if it posted to Twitter with the pair with me hashtag. So that there was we were advertising to a broader group. Look, there are these sessions going on. People could jump in. You know what I mean?
Oh, by the way, we can do that like really, really easy. How the Discuss comments get posted to Slack? We can do just exactly the same way, and it would take like 5 minutes to set up the integration without any coding.
Okay, then cool.
If you send me the details of the Twitter channel.
It's just the pair with me hashtag. I mean, I've kind of, since I got my account stolen on Twitter, I've kind of got a bit, sick of Twitter. But
Twitter in my life, so I have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah, but so basically, there's the pair with me. I think it's So basically, it was Avdi Grimm, who's sort of a famous Ruby programmer. He came up with this, hashtag pair with me and said, look, let's do this, that, and the other. And, I think if we look at that June 10 as that, it's not every day, but it's still kind of like going on. I mean, I think we want to be careful not to spam it too heavily, but I think, so basically if we could just tweet, we have got an Agile Ventures Twitter account, but so if the Agile Ventures Twitter account could be tweeting pair with me whenever a pairing session started, I think that would be pretty cool.
How does this work? So we tweet into the Agile Ventures account with this hashtag, and how does that hashtag, and anybody?
Anybody can basically people can just search for the pair with me hashtag, and
it's like a tag. I see.
Yeah, it's just a tag. I think I lost the. I don't know what the also combination. Anyway, but I mean, something to explore. Yeah.
All right, cool. During the next Scrum, I will show you the interface for setting up the integration.
Right.
And then you can just enter the credentials, and that's it. It will be working.
Yeah. Yeah, I will let's see if I can work out. It looks like I don't know why my password has disappeared for the Agile Ventures account. I guess maybe Thomas changed it. And anyway, yeah, cool. All right. Well, sorry for the Scrum running over there. I think that was a useful discussion there. Nick, best of luck with sorting everything out. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys at the next Scrum.
All right.
Or thereabouts. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so you guys have a nice day.